Hello everyone, welcome back to today's video. Today we'll be learning about images and how we can add them to our HTML web page. Now the first thing that we're going to do is to get an image that we'll add to this our web page. So open up Google Chrome and you can go and type in sample images. Then you can get anyone you want. So I'll just get this. Right click and click save image as. So now I'll open this in my folder. So I'm working in my HTML folder. So I'll save this there and can change the name if you want. So I'll change this to sample image, then click save. So now when we go back into our code editor, we should see sample image.jpg in our work folder. So now first of all, let's clear all this so we have a clean slate. And in HTML, to add an image, you use the img tag. So now the img tag is an example of a self-closing tag. In HTML, the img tag takes two primary attributes, which is the src attribute and the alt attribute. Now the src attribute on the image tag is what accepts the file path for whatever image you want to put. Now by file path I mean, for me to add this image now, what I'll need to do is to get this file name and put it in this src. So you can also just type this out, sample image.jpg. So when I save this and reload my page, yes, now you should see the image there. Now the alt attribute is also very important, and it's what tells your browser what this image is about and also helps screen readers. Now it's always advisable to put something meaningful in this alt tag, in this alt attribute, but for the sake of this video we'll just put in anything. So I can put in image1, then save this. So if we refresh this page, you will notice that nothing actually changes when we add that text to the alt attribute. But if we go back and change this file name to something invalid, which means that this file does not exist, and I save this and go back, you'll see that the file does not load, but we get that alt attribute image1. So it's a very important thing to add alt attributes to your images to help your website rank higher on SEO searches. So later on in this course, we are going to talk more about SEO and what we can do to improve our SEO ranking of our websites. So just know it's very good practice to add meaningful text to your alt attribute on your images. Now there's another way to add images to our web page, and we can do this by getting the image directly from the internet without downloading it. But this is not advisable, but I can show you how it's done. So you can go back and pick any image you want, then when I right click, I click on copy image address. So when I go back, let's load up this image again, enter a new img tag, and in the src attributes you paste in the image address you copied. Then in my alt attributes I put in image2. Now when I reload, this page will load up the image from the internet. Now as you can see, this is the image. Now if you notice, This makes the page loading time longer, and that's because it has to fetch this image directly from the internet. But it's very good practice to always have your images downloaded locally, because one, you do not have control over the file path of this image. So if Pixabay changes the file location for this image will no longer load up on our website. And a second thing is hot linking. So this is known as hot linking, which means we are loading resources from another person's web server, which can cause traffic, which can lead to high traffic on their own servers if your website experiences high traffic. So it's always better to just have your images downloaded locally. So the last thing I want to be showing us in images is how we can resize our images. Like this second image now is way too large, and if we want to resize this, we can use a very simple attribute known as the width attribute. So let's say I want to set the width of this image to 100 pixels. All I just need to do is go back to the width attribute and type in 100. And I save this. You see that the image scales down to 100 pixels. So if we inspect this, and yes, 100 by 100. But first, let's increase this to something like 400. So you save this and you refresh your page. So now this image now is 400 pixels. But let's say you now want the height of the image to be something different. You can also achieve this by using the height attribute in the image. So just type in height, and I can set this to, let's say, 200 pixels. Now this will actually shrink, this will actually distort the image, but you can actually do this. So now it's set to 400 by 200 pixels. Now that's how we can resize images in HTML. So we've looked at how we can load up images and resize them and best practices for using images. Now you know how to add images to your web pages. You can play around with this, and in the next video we'll be learning about how we can add more interactivity to our web pages by using forms. So see you in that video. Bye.